Welcome back to American Agenda. Some big news for Disney fans. The company has announced that Disney's Florida theme parks will be reopening on July 11th. Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom will be the first parts to welcome back guests, followed by Epcot and Hollywood Studios shortly thereafter. So is the risk of coronavirus worth it to visit happiest places on earth? Well, to weigh in, let's bring back our A-plus panel for the day. Author of Mastering Money, Norm Champ, and editor-in-chief of HerMoney.com, Katherine Tuggle. So, Katherine, some encouraging news when a big park like Disney opens up. How vital is Disney, say, to the economies, and what does this say to you?
It's a good question. You know, I think that in reality, we aren't too worried about the companies that are the size of Disney. Certainly, it will be great for people to get back, return to normal. The happiest place on earth, like you said, it does us all a world of good just to know that we can go see Mickey Mouse when we want to. But, you know, the truth is that the University of Chicago released new data this week that 42% of the layoffs that we've currently seen may turn into permanent job losses because of companies that have had to change the way they do business or because of companies that have gone bankrupt. So although companies like Disney opening up are great, I think that the overall picture, the big picture, is yet to be seen in the impact of coronavirus.
Yeah, and Norm, something that I've wondered about is the cost of reopening, because there are a lot of companies out there that are going to have to do ongoing cleaning. I don't mean clean in the morning, but like clean all day long, or clean after one customer comes in and then is followed by another. Because who's going to go shopping for clothes if you're not sure it's clean, for instance, or go to a restaurant if you're not sure it's clean? What kind of additional cost are employers going to have to incur, and will that affect the recovery here?
Absolutely. And right, exactly. You could see in office environments where it's typically one cleaning at night after everyone's gone home. That's easily going to be 3 or 4 a day with people going through and wiping down. So that's a lot more cost, a lot more people. Also think about physical alterations. If you've been out to some of the reopened businesses, you will see plexiglass screens, you'll see lanes set up where you can only walk a certain way, those kinds of things. So businesses not only have the drop in revenue that they've seen from this, resulting in some of the bankruptcies and other things, but we're going to have increased costs to get people back into the workplace, get people back to, let's say, at Disney. I'm sure they're probably putting up screens with different vendors, maybe food vendors, they're putting them up. So there's a lot of extra expense. Now, I would say, though, on the Disney point, those are jobs, right? And those are huge employers in both Florida and California. And I think getting people back into those jobs and having visitors come, it's not only a psychological thing, but those are the kinds of jobs that have been lost in this thing, right? Because if you're someone who sells something at Disney, you can't work from home. And so it is encouraging to see those jobs coming back.
Now, Katherine, you mentioned that 40% permanent job losses figure. What are some of the hardest hit areas and jobs?
Well, obviously, hospitality is hit incredibly hard right now. I think restaurants and just any business where you have to be in person, retail. I mean, we've seen such big bankruptcies coming from JCPenney and J. Crew and others. So really anything where people are physically present in a brick and mortar store of any kind are hardest hit. But again, there are bright spots: tech, pharma, grocery industry, all doing really well right now. So there's good and there's bad out there.
And yeah. Consumer confidence is really critical in all of this, isn't it? That when people go out, that they actually feel safe, that they feel like they can, right, Norm?
That's absolutely right. And I think one of the things that you're starting to see with this reopening, too, is a little bit of an age gap, right? Because the statistics are starting to show that for younger Americans, it's really not that much of a threat. There are certainly some, in some cases, but overall, statistically, not a big threat. So you're seeing some of these, young people gathering at big parties, some of the publicity and news headlines, recently. But I think you're going to see older Americans probably much more hesitant to get out there because they're at much higher risk. And of course, something we haven't talked about, it's not going to be possible if there are people who have compromised immune systems due to cancer or some other underlying illness. For those folks, it's not going to be safe to go out. And as you look at all the guidelines, they're generally saying that people in the highest risk category can't go out at all and are to stay home.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the dynamic also as far as who's wearing a mask, where they're requiring it, where they're not requiring it. That's a whole new world we're all going to embrace over the next few weeks. Norm Champ and Catherine Tuggle, thank you so much for joining us today, and we're going to continue our coverage of the coronavirus crisis after this.